Hi, and welcome to this video on making the most of university resources for students at engineering with me, Emma Ettridge, from the Department of Engineering Library and Information Service. This video will cover accessing Cambridge University Library resources online, where to look for ebooks, articles and business resources, and using other sources in your own work. To help you find Cambridge University Library resources online quickly and easily, we will look at the different Cambridge libraries, as well as how to find databases and research resources that you can use to search for items to read to support your work, and how you can access the full text of articles online anywhere. There are over 100 libraries in Cambridge, including the University Library, Department and Faculty Libraries, and College Libraries. Some of these you will have access to and some you won't. However, the university subscribes to literally hundreds of thousands of online books, journals, magazines, databases, and other resources that you can access anywhere in the world. You may need to use a specific university link or login to access these, but you should be able to do so. The Engineering Library has curated resources that you may find useful. If you are looking for business-related resources, the Cambridge Judge Business School is an excellent place to begin your search. The university subscribes to over 1,000 online databases, which are available to members of the university. Some of these resources may require using specific links and university logins, such as Raven, to access them. If you have any trouble accessing any university database, contact the Engineering Library for help. 1,000 databases is a huge amount of resources, and they can be pretty overwhelming. Handily, you can filter them by subject, such as engineering or business studies, to find the ones that are most relevant and useful for your own research. Lean Library is a browser extension that delivers an article to you regardless of where you are linking from. Often you search for what you need in any number of different places online, and then you may sometimes hit publishers' paywalls and can't access the article. Lean Library will automatically detect where you are on a website and whether you have access thanks to the subscriptions of Cambridge University Libraries. And even neater, making your work easier and faster, Lean will automatically deliver you an open access version of an article, if one is available, whenever Cambridge University Libraries do not provide subscription access. Lean Library is free to download from www.libraries.cam.ac.uk/eresources/access-full-text-anywhere. Now we're going to explore where to begin looking for information, including the books and articles on your reading lists, and places to search for additional resources you may need. We'll begin with searching Cambridge University Libraries, then look at Google Scholar, and finally how to find information and resources about business. You will need to find books, articles and other items during your course, both from your reading list and for your own independent research. The easiest way to search available resources in all Cambridge University libraries is through the iDiscover catalogue, which can be accessed online at idiscover.lib.cam.ac.uk. iDiscover searches Cambridge Libraries collections, articles and online resources, or you can set it to search everything. If you see an item that says full text online, this means it can be downloaded or read online anywhere using the links in iDiscover. Some items may have restricted access, in which case you will need to contact the Engineering Library to see if access is available. iDiscover only searches items that we have access to via the University of Cambridge, so if it isn't in iDiscover, this doesn't mean it doesn't exist, just that we might not have university access to it. To find out more about the practicalities of how to search for online books and journals, articles in iDiscover, see the Search in iDiscover video or information on the iDiscover's guide, which can be accessed at libguides.cam.ac.uk/iDiscover. When you search for information, one of the first places you go is probably Google, but if you're looking for academic articles and resources to support your research, we recommend using Google Scholar. Google Scholar indexes peer-reviewed academic material and uses different algorithms to regular Google to ensure that scholarly and highly cited work comes top of your search results. You can search Google Scholar by title if you know the item you're looking for, or you can search by keywords if you want to find information on a particular topic, such as, for example, the circular economy. Looking at the citation of each article in Google Scholar will help you find related articles that cite or refer to the one you're looking at, which helps you expand your knowledge on a topic and see what articles have been influenced by the ones you're looking at. If you have a Google account, you can use the Library Links menu in your settings bar, the free bar menu at the top of the page, to add University of Cambridge as one of your libraries. This then allows you to access articles in Google Scholar via the university, usually shown up as eResources at Cambridge link, which helpfully takes you through to the articles as if you were accessing it on iDiscover and avoiding publishers' paywalls. Thanks to the Cambridge Judge Business School Information and Library Service, you will have access to a huge amount of business information, including company, industry and market research, financial information, news articles, and more. The quickest way to find these resources is via the CJBS database page, where all the most relevant business databases have been brought together in one place. We have a short video on finding business resources that searches the Business Source Ultimate database as an example. If you want a more detailed look at tools, tips and techniques for searching academic literature for your research, visit our website. If you are looking for popular newspapers to read to keep up to date with events in the business world, through iDiscover you can find access to historic and recent articles in the New York Times, the Financial Times and the Economist, amongst others. And again, thanks to our colleagues at the Cambridge Judge Business School Information and Library Services, you also have access to Factiva, a global database of the world's most popular and important newspapers and trade journals. Once you have found all the books, articles and other resources you need, it isn't enough to just read them and forget about them. You will want to use them in your own work to support your research, build a case or provide evidence for an argument or assertion. But how do you do this in academic writing? This final section of this video will look at plagiarism and how to avoid it, referencing your sources and how to keep track of them. Plagiarism is defined by the University of Cambridge as submitting as one's own work that which derives in part or in its entirety from the work of others without due acknowledgement. The way to avoid plagiarism in your work is to reference any information that you have used that have come from other sources you've read. Plagiarism includes self-plagiarism, which sounds strange but applies to any work that you have previously published or submitted as an academic assignment. If you are reusing any content from your earlier work, you will need to reference it in the same way as you would with any other source. Proper referencing is the gold standard for academic writing, and as well as avoiding plagiarism, helps to show the depth of your research, acknowledges the work of others, and gives your readers places to go for further information. It is good scholarly practice and it helps to ensure the academic integrity of your work. Confused about what you need to reference? Don't be. You will need to reference any direct quotation, paraphrases, data, figures and tables, lines of code, ideas, interviews, lecture slides, and basically anything you found in another source that isn't your own original work. Lots of different ways to format or style your references, and there is no University of Cambridge house style, so talk to your course leaders if you're not sure which referencing style you need to use. You'll see examples of well-formatted references throughout your reading, like the ones on this slide. References are there for readers to be able to find and follow up with the original source of a quote or an idea, so they need to include enough information to allow them to do this. You will need to include authors or editors, title and date, and you will also need more detail such as the title of the journal an article appeared in, who published it, the page numbers, the volume or issue, and for anything you found online, the date of retrieval. This is the date that you accessed it, and the URL or the DRI. The university subscribes to a useful online resource called Cite Them Right, citethemrightonline.com, which helps provide information, examples and templates for how to reference different types of material in different styles. There are 3 main ways to reference other people's work in your text. Generally, direct quotes are best used carefully and when you can't change the original wording without losing the meaning. Paraphrasing is preferred when the details, but not the exact words, are important, and summarising when you have a long passage that you need to cut down to its essential points. We recommend setting up a reference manager to help you organise all the articles and books you find and ensure that your references are formatted correctly. Reference managers such as Mendeley and Zotero help you to keep your sources organised and use plugins with most popular word processing software such as Microsoft Word, to automatically generate your references and bibliographies so you don't need to spend hours typing them in by hand. For information on how to set up and use reference managers, see the Reference Manager video or the Engineering Library website. Thank you for watching this video on making the most of the university resources for your course. I hope you found it useful. For further information about the topics covered in this video, see the Engineering Library website or contact the Engineering Library team by email at library@eng.cam.ac.uk.